Hello, today is January 8th and this is our latest update. We are now at Block A on the basement level. The main task is reinforcing the slab and the foundation beams of the basement parking level. But this section has already been poured. It was poured on December 28th and 29th, around 100 cubic meters, slightly less. In that area, you can already see the soil. We will be backfilling and compacting it in a sheet pile zone to continue the reinforcement work there. Work is currently underway here to install the level markers. These are metal elements set by the survey engineer at a specific level so that during pouring we know exactly up to which level the concrete should be poured. Let's move on. We will be pouring this section, the main part of the foundation and the parking slab. This area will be poured later, after we backfill the soil, compact it in layers, and complete lab testing. For this purpose, we are installing a cold trap barrier, which will define the concrete pouring boundary. In that area, while this is being installed, we are building the pile foundations and setting up the formwork for the level mark. In this area, we are installing reinforcement and waterproofing for underground structures. On the existing concrete, we are laying a 300 micron film to prevent moisture from entering and being absorbed by the underground concrete, tiles, slabs, and other elements. Reinforcement is already completed here. In this area, rebar and film are being installed. The workers plan to finish the reinforcement tonight so that on the 10th, the day after tomorrow, we can start pouring. Here we can see the punch. Layer by layer backfilling is being done there, and the soil is being compacted so that it reaches the required strength as defined in our structural calculations for the building and foundation. And behind me, the KSC Mechanosaur team is carrying out inspection and acceptance works, reviewing and checking remarks. There are vertical elements prepared for the reinforcement. Now we are at the location where the C2 villas will be built soon. Behind me is the site for the L2 villas, and further ahead is Block A. On this side, a tower crane has already been installed. Its lifting capacity is 20 tons near the tower and 2 to 3 tons at the end of the boom, and it consumes about 100 kilowatts of power. We are currently connecting the power cable and setting up the crane operations. We needed to pour vertical structures and deliver loads to Block A. It is much more convenient and safer than using a concrete pump, because a concrete pump can be unreliable. It may break down or get clogged, while with a bucket filled with concrete and lifted by the crane to the pouring zone. It is more reliable, risks are reduced, and it is slightly cheaper. In addition, we are carrying out earthworks in this area to prepare for the villa sites are gradually taking shape and the terrain is being formed. We are also forming the road profiles that will connect our villa neighborhoods. Soon the crane will feature every branding and the logo of the general contractor, Umira. On this side, you can turn the camera. There is a mobile wheeled crane that was used to assemble our permanent tower crane. Its lifting capacity is 50 tons, which allowed us to lift the components and assemble them quickly. This is how the road profile looks, which will run between our villa neighborhoods. With the excavator, we are leveling the sites and preparing the base for the future road surface. At the S1 and S3 villas, we are installing the engineering system, carrying out inspection and testing, and preparing all surfaces for the By turning it on, we check that the cables work properly, all connectors are in the correct order, and that there are no sparks, no malfunctions, and no overheating. We check the pipe connections, verify the angles, and check the positions of the pipe and cable outlets. Work on the lake installation is ongoing. The concrete parts are already completed. Right now, we are connecting the drainage system to it, meaning pipes with the necessary slope and correct connections at the required levels, and laying them on prepared sanded gravel bases. It's January 9th, it's 12:30. The workers are on lunch break, so it's quiet now, and as we can see, they worked late yesterday and managed to connect this section to the concrete slab. In about an hour and a half, we have an inspection of the reinforcement and waterproofing by the technical supervision representative, and we will check the work. As we can see, the screed guides in this area are completed, ensuring the slope from the center of the slab toward the drainage. In this part, it's not finished yet, but there's about an hour and a half of work left. The pouring is scheduled for tomorrow early morning because there will be less traffic and fewer risks of delays or the concrete getting stuck in traffic. The estimated volume is 170 cubic meters and we expect it to take about 5 hours. Similar to the previous zone, because we will use a concrete pump, which allows us to work faster, to finish everything on time. In that zone, we are waiting for the lab inspection, which after the second layer of backfill will confirm the soil compaction, and then we will continue layer by layer. For now, these works are on hold, because we first need to install the formwork for the vertical lift structure. Once we install the formwork and pour the concrete, we can start backfilling layer by layer to support those foundations. That's the update. I will record a video soon to show how the inspection will take place. We have also received the geodetic control data prepared as part of the executive documentation. We checked the flatness of the previously poured slab. The results are impressive. We met the tolerances set by both Russian and Indonesian standards. The variation is no more than 15 millimeters. And with the required slope from the highest point toward the drainage. Great job, great job. Kumiro has completed its work. Well, I also want to highlight the results of the corrections of the remarks that were previously issued by the technical supervision. During the pouring of that zone, we had serious concerns about the cold joint. Because the concrete pouring is limited to this boundary, it was agreed in advance, but it must be properly secured so that the concrete does not cross this line, and at the same time, the rebar cages that continue beyond this line were properly cut off. Previously, we had a few remarks on this issue, but we fixed them before the pouring. And now Kumiro has immediately applied the recommendations we gave them. They installed a fine mesh here to prevent the concrete from passing through it. The rebar continues from the pouring zone further on. The beam remains continuous. This is also a good example of how Kumiro addressed the remarks. These are our drainage measures. You can see the pipes for connecting the pump that removes the water. There are also 2 sleeves for the pump wiring. Reinforcement has been completed. There was a remark regarding the reinforcement as these rods were missing. Although they are included in the design to prevent stress concentration, since stress in concrete concentrates especially in the corner areas, these rods were missing before. Now they are installed and tied properly. The reinforcement has been checked both inside and at the bottom. The formwork has been installed. All sleeves have been installed. And the spacers that provide the required gap for the protective concrete cover. Everything is ready for pouring in this zone. We just need to sign the checklist. We expect to start in about an hour and a half. It's also worth noting that we took safety measures during the pouring. On the left side, you can see a manual concrete mixer. We call it a side mixer. On this side, there is sand and gravel. Cement is stored in the warehouse. They are purchased and stored here so that if, for any reason, the concrete truck is delayed or does not arrive, we can always use the concrete mixer. And without waiting for the concrete to set, which is not good, quickly mix concrete on site. And continue pouring manually while waiting for the truck, thus protecting ourselves from cold joints that were not planned by the designer. So as of January 8th, the main priority right now is pouring the structure for Block A, the installation of terraces for villas C and L, and moving on to decorative finishing on the C villas, which are already ready for it.